You've probably heard your share of near-death experiences, but as far as I'm concerned, there's always room for more. And I'm okay to share mine today because what I experienced was noteworthy. Welcome back. For a couple of decades, I've helped dreamers around the world make sense of their dreams, and I can do the same for you. Right up front, I'll tell you that a coming trip to the hospital was prophesied the very morning before it happened. It was one of those dreams that you don't forget and somewhat disturbing. The dream wasn't a warning, but a heads up as to what was going to happen. The near-death experience itself occurred due to a fall where I broke a major bone. I couldn't move, and I think that was the most pain I'd ever felt up to that point in time. Emergency services were called, and I was taken by ambulance to the emergency room of a hospital in the area. I was initially moved to a small private room where I was left on my own without an advocate of any kind. My family hadn't arrived, and no medical staff remained with me. It all happened pretty fast, and the next thing you know, I found myself somewhere else. No, I didn't see a bright light pulling me forward, no tunnel, no Jesus, and thankfully, no flames. Instead, I found myself atop a cliff, enjoying a magnificent view of an ocean. The scene was really breathtaking. I could see the coastline to my right for miles. The colors were brilliant, and the beach inviting. The temperature was unnoticeable, apparently perfect. And I was no longer in the pain I felt in the hospital. Though I was alone, I certainly wasn't lonely. I felt safe, even though I was so near the edge of that cliff. Crouched behind a large boulder, I just took in the panoramic view, hoping to soon be down on that beach. But there didn't seem to be a plan for that, or a way to get there. Alas, I was awakened by pain across the bridge of my nose and found myself back in that emergency room. I found out soon that a medical staff member had injected me one too many times with a pain inhibitor, probably fentanyl, because I've since repeatedly learned that I'm unable to tolerate that, period. That's what took me on the trip to the beach. I was told that I had stopped breathing for 10 minutes before being resuscitated. And that's when I traveled to the beach during those 10 minutes, of course. So let me interpret that trip I had. Given my calling, the vision was composed of symbols, naturally. Here's my take on it. Since I was close to death, I was overlooking death. That is, a place, figuratively speaking, where life can meet up with eternity. Let me explain. The ocean carries several symbolic, distinct, and different meanings. But an important one is connected to its depths and mysteries. An ocean, then, can speak of God or eternity, depth and mystery, maybe even sunken treasure. So the beach is where life on earth meets eternity, symbolically. A place where the living meet God or eternity. Think of it. Do you ever have dreams where you're on the beach? Re-examine those dreams. Could they have been addressing a time or place you met with God, or that you regularly meet with Him? I found that more times than not, beaches simply speak of closeness to God. That doesn't have to mean death. It most likely speaks of communion with Jesus, like worship, prayer, maybe church. Moving on to another symbol in that near-death vision. Why was I crouching behind the boulder? It's not that hard to see. The rock himself, Jesus, stood between me and the edge of that cliff, prohibiting me from accessing the beach, protecting me from death. 1 Peter 2:6, quote, "For it stands in Scripture, behold, I am laying in Zion a stone, a cornerstone, chosen and precious, and whoever believes in him will not be put to shame," unquote. I probably shouldn't leave you without mentioning a couple of other potential meanings for oceans in dreams and visions. The main other symbolism is supported by Scripture as well. Revelation 13:1 starts like this. "Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea." The beast, of course, speaks of the Antichrist. And his rising up out of the sea depicts his rising up out of the masses of humanity. So an ocean can symbolize the masses. And ships, by the way, speak of impacting that humanity. They're making a dent, if you will, in the water, right? The larger the ship, the greater the impact, of course. Another alternative for an ocean centers around the metaphor an ocean of trouble or a sea of red. In other words, a whole lot of something. So there's several possible meanings for oceans in dreams. One, depth and mystery, or more specifically, God and eternity or death. Two, the masses of people on the earth. Three, a whole lot of something. And with regard to near-death experiences, I wonder if they're tailor-made for each individual who experiences them. For me, the vision was highly symbolic. Others, like me, may have also experienced visions, and some maybe even briefly entered the other side. Now, I have had experiences where I was actually taken to another place, not a literal place, but my body transported into the initial open vision. Now, an open vision is where you see something like on a television screen right in front of you. It's not inside your mind. You see it with your eyes. And in this one, I saw it, and then I was transported into it. And now all of a sudden I was standing on a beach again there. But I'll share that some other time. For now, I just want to wish you every blessing, that you commune regularly with God and that you live beyond your wildest dreams.